This is a really important topic, body shame. And when I put a poll recently in my Facebook group, Your Last First Date, about what's stopping you from really valuing yourself, the top answer was body image, body stuff. So we have a wonderful volunteer from our group who said she would help with this topic. And I'm so grateful for you, Anne. I'm going to bring Anne on in a second. And why do so many women dislike their bodies? And unfortunately, it starts really early on at a young age. It gets in the way of us living our best life. Let me tell you a little bit about Anne. She works with clients who are struggling with weight loss. Divorce and death in the family and other major life events can be the cause for weight gain, which in turn often leads to a lack of self-worth and confidence issues. Anne's approach involves mindset shifts, healthy eating habits, and regular exercise, and her clients achieve a healthier lifestyle, a positive attitude towards life, and long-lasting results, which are not true for most other programs. So I am super excited to have you here today, Anne. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to today, and thank you for having me.
And my pleasure. So body shame. Let's start with why this is a topic that's interested you. Like, what did you have your own experience with body shame?
I did. So growing up, I was always into sweet stuff and other, the unhealthy snacks, if I can say that way. Thankfully, I was very sporty as a child. And so I managed to keep my weight at bay, but I was never happy with myself, even as a child. As I, grew up and started to work, I used to travel a hell of a lot. I used to work in the corporate world before. I was in IT, and I really struggled with my weight, mainly because of the travel, and I just wasn't happy with myself. I really didn't know how you could lead a healthy lifestyle while being so busy. So it was kind of trying to figure it all out. And, I don't have children, so that was quite easy, but my job was so demanding that between the job, a little bit of social life, and I just didn't know how to juggle. About 8 years ago, 9 years now, the company I worked for got acquired by a new company, and I hated it. And I decided that it was time to make a change, to make a big change and understand how I can help people that are struggling with the same issues that I was struggling. And I can say, even on the dating scene, I just didn't want to go and date because I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel happy in myself. And, I went on dates. It's not that I never did go on dates, but I know I wasn't the person that I know I can be. So unfortunately, I didn't meet the right person because I think if you're not happy with yourself, you can't be the best version of yourself. Mm. And so I started working with some clients, and I quickly realized that so many people that are overweight are unhappy in the same way that I was unhappy within ourselves. And it just comes, it just hampers everything in life, be it relationships, be it a promotion at work, potentially, be it even the family relationships with your children. People are unhappy, so they're angrier. There's so much that is related to not feeling confident in ourselves and in our body that can be solved by going onto a journey of self-discovery and lifestyle change.
So what did you begin to do? So first you left a bad job and you started to get in touch with your own truth. And how then, which takes a lot of courage, by the way, a lot of people are afraid to leave what's comfortable.
Yeah.
I actually was speaking to a friend yesterday who is struggling in a terrible marriage and is so afraid to leave. And every time she calls me, she gives me a whole list of what's wrong with the marriage and how unsupportive he is and da 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 da. And I keep saying to her, how much evidence do you need to walk away? It's scary. I get it. It's scary to leave anything that's not working. But what's on the other side is amazing. So talk about...
And it's the same, actually, when it comes to, you know, dealing with weight loss or your body image, because there's, first of all, the fear of failure. I think everyone today, except for a few people, have tried some kind of diet throughout their lives. And, you know, if the diet was so restrictive, we all failed. I mean, I tried myself so many different diets before I realized that a diet is not going to be helping me long term. And
I just want to say something about that, because I really feel that diet in general is restrictive, and it's like a punishment. It feels like a punishment. And women, I have a friend who's a nutritionist, and she's amazing. It's a holistic nutritionist. And she really introduced the idea of women needing pleasure, that is one of our basic core needs. So can you speak to that, and what's the alternative to diet?
We definitely need pleasure. In my view is, if you're not passionate about something, it's not going to happen. And we all hate diets. So how can we make it happen if we hate something? Is just something that, you know, goes beyond my understanding. And as you said, you know, diets are so restrictive today that, you know, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of everything, as long as you understand what your body needs. And when I say needs, is what nutrients your body needs to function at your best, to get the best energy, to stay healthy. Because if you look at it from a health perspective and an energy perspective, it makes it in a totally different light. So in my opinion, weight loss is a byproduct of trying to be as healthy as you can be, plus having as the right energy that you need to have to do everything you do, because we are all busy. We have work, we have children, some have grandchildren, you know, whatever it is, we want to be able to do whatever we want to do. And unfortunately, unhealthy eating or even restrictive diets take away that opportunity to, one, be healthy and be able to do what we want to do.
Mm. So can you share a client success story, like how you take a client from where she was to healthy eating, healthy living, better body image?
So the first thing I always say, like most of my clients, when they arrive, the first thing I do is, you know, talk to them about what's going on, what led them to where they are today, and why they want to change. Because understanding why and really going deep into the why, not just, you know, oh, I want to look good or I want to feel good, but why it is so important for them is a good, is important to me, so that I can remind them along the journey. Because like any journey, you're going to have your ups and downs, and, you know, you're going to have some good moments, some struggling moments. It's normal. It's a journey. Mm-hmm. So for me to be able to remind people about why they're doing it, and that why, by the way, can change along the route as well. Quite often, people think they feel okay, but they don't realize how much better they can feel. So the why often change along the way as well. So I have one client, for instance, who... do you do stones in the States?
Do we do what?
Stones. She lost 2 and a bit stones.
Oh, we don't have stones. We do pounds, but yeah.
It's about 30 pounds.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot.
But she had her 60th birthday coming up, and she wanted to look good for her 60th birthday. And all her friends said to me, make sure she doesn't stop after that. Now, and she didn't. She also is a cancer survivor. She came off her diabetes medication, and she came off her statins. So there's lots of other reasons for her as well. But the first reason was her 60th birthday. Afterwards, because she went on her, yearly cancer checkup, and the doctor was just so amazed by what she's done, she now has other reasons why to continue. So that's one of the things that we have to remember. And the other thing that I always say at the start is, you are what you are. There's nothing you can do now about what led you to the situation now. Whatever reason it was, be it, a divorce, be it an injury, be it whatever it is that led you to be how you are, there's nothing you can do about the past. It's really about focusing what you're going to do about it now and what you can do about now. And then the second thing is, you can't be perfect on day one. Because we all start diets and, we go full on speed and all good and well. And then something happens and we lose it. And that's when, again, we feel like a failure. But it's, little things that you do on a regular basis that will lead you to change and long-term change. It's not about being perfect on day one. So my client, for instance, who, turned 60, the first thing I worked with her was breakfast and drinking more. Those are the only two things I worked with. I didn't care if, she had still too much wine in the evening when she went out with her friends, because it's not about changing everything overnight. It's not going to happen. It's not realistic. What you do today is what you've been doing for so long that it's about replacing the few things that you feel comfortable changing and not changing everything. Mm-hmm. And then when you feel comfortable with the level you reach, it's where do I go to the next level? So even for myself, for instance, I'm at a level where I'm okay, I'm fine, but I know I would like to get to the next level. And that next level is still a little bit scary. And there's, the fear of failure. The fear of change is probably the biggest one as well for me. It's, who is that person that I'm going to become? It's someone that I don't know. And it's about relaxing about it. It's about realizing that if I want to be at my best, I need to slowly but surely make the little changes so that I feel comfortable to get there eventually.
So I'm taking a few notes here. Okay. I love what you're saying, and I just want to recap a little bit so that everybody gets all of these gems. First of all, know your why. And I believe that's true for everything. Always start with your why, because that's going to be what you move towards, especially when things are not going exactly how you want. Mm-hmm. Don't focus on the past, because we can easily beat ourselves up there. Start where you are. We can't always be perfect. And I think that self-compassion when things don't always go well, because what happens is we get into that loop, rabbit hole. One thing goes wrong and, oh my God, so I'm just going to eat a bag of chips and a pint of ice cream because I already screwed up, and then you just feel horrible. So having that self-compassion, that it's not about perfection. It's about trying your best.
One thing I read recently, which was quite interesting talking about this, is even successful people fail. Mm-hmm. The main difference between successful people and people who struggle is how quickly they get back to, they recover and get back on track with what they want to do. Yes. And that, I think, is a massive one, is, it's not, it's not the one pizza that's going to make you put on weight, or and it's not the one salad that's going to make you lose weight. It's about the balance in between and having more. I'm saying salads. I hate salads, by the way, but it's just, an example. It's about having more salads and less pizza.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a balance. Like you said, it's a balance, and it's baby steps. And so a couple of things come to mind. And one is, when I was about 18, I gained weight for the first time in my life. I think I gained about 7 pounds, which I thought I was obese. And I was really skinny. I was probably 122 pounds when I started at 5'6". Not a big person. I was always a small, skinny person. But suddenly I'm gaining weight. I didn't get my period for a year. I was away in Israel for my gap year, and the food there was terrible. And so we went out to the bakery every single day, and that's pretty much what we lived on. Baked goods, bread, Danish, of course you're going to gain weight. And I had no exercise regimen at the time. So I came home, my mother threw me into one of these diet workshop-y, you go and my name is Sandy and I have to lose 7 pounds. I absolutely hated that program. And it just wasn't for me. And for some people, those Weight Watchers, accountability, all those programs are fantastic. But I knew for me, I didn't want to go. It felt shaming. It felt like public shaming. And I didn't want to be weighed in front of people. It just wasn't working for me. And what worked for me at the time was changing my diet to be healthy. I took sugar out of my diet at the time. And I started eating avocados and sprouts and things that I had never eaten. And this is back in 1975. 1975. So health food was like a new thing. And I loved the food, and it felt like a gift I was giving my body. And I started exercising. And so if you can look at weight gain as a gift, so without it, I was unconscious in my eating. I could eat a loaf of bread buttered at a sitting and never gain weight. Now I had to be conscious. And so I think, that worked for me, that I was giving my body a gift and not taking something away. So I wanted to share that, because that was a huge mindset shift for me. And we talk about mindset, and I think that your mind is the most important place to start. Like with you talking about the why.
Yeah.
I wanted to also just say that we have a commenter here, Claudia. We were talking before about pleasure, and Claudia says that pleasure is really important. She said, for me, I used to get primary pleasure from eating. There are many different types of pleasure, and incorporating pleasure and relaxing with a book, a TV show, a luxurious bath, walking in natural environments, looking for those moments in life that make us pause and enjoy life. That's really beautiful, Claudia.
It's not just beautiful, it's also very important, because when we think of weight loss, we think of food and exercise. But there's sleep, there's relaxation. These two things we just forget about that are massively important when it comes to weight loss. You can do everything, when it comes to food and exercise. But if you're massively stressed, your hormones are going to be massively out of sync. And no matter what you do, you're not going to achieve the results you want to achieve. So sleep and relaxation, be it, pleasure, like, reading a book or a bath or going for a walk, is so important. And that's one of the things that people forget. And it doesn't have to be a full hour a day. Even 10, 15 minutes and half an hour once in a while is more than enough to rebalance our cortisol, which is our stress hormone.
That's really, really important. Thank you for sharing that.
And one of the things we have to remember as well, obviously, most of the people in the group are 40 plus, is when we come to the menopause, where, our hormones are changing. And so we have to adapt with it as well. Whatever worked for us when we were in our 30s or even early 40s doesn't work anymore when we get there. we need to change some of our eating habits. We need to de-stress, which is one of the biggest things when it comes to the menopause. We need to look at our sugar intake a lot, especially for the hot flushes. There's just so much that we need to look at as we get older, and we have to change with age as well.
Yeah, this is a pretty broad topic. There's a lot to say here.
Yeah.
And so, menopause to me was a rude awakening. It was like, whoa, what's happening to the body here? And I even remember when I started dating after my divorce, I was embarrassed to have my body be seen by a man because it had been so many years. And I had had 4 children, and my body wasn't the same as it was when I was in my 20s. And I had so many negative beliefs about my body that were ridiculous. Like I see it now, they were ridiculous. And it took men telling me, your body's beautiful. And I have a group, the Women of Value Love Mastery group, and we were talking about body image in our last session. And 2 of the women were talking about negative body images and saying that it's all in their heads because the men they've been with have never said one word about their bodies. And while some men do, actually somebody said something to me in an email today about her body image and that men have told her negative things about her body. I have never seen it in anybody else. Most men are so happy to get into bed with you. They really don't care about what your cellulite looks like. So do you have any little words of wisdom to help women who are afraid to take their clothes off in front of a man, who are worried about cellulite or a saggy breast or something that they're stressing about?
One is it's part of our lives. That's something that we have to start accepting, that as we get older, it is, it becomes part of our lives. However, we can do certain things about it. So we can do some body brushing when we're in the shower or in the bath. We can do a little bit more exercise. There's little things that we can do that at least we know we've done whatever we can do to try and feel better about ourselves. But it is going to happen. It's a fact of life. But as long as we know we've done our best, that's all we can do.
So more self-compassion here. Don't beat ourselves up. And it's such an important piece. So there's so much more we could say. Obviously, we don't have 20 hours here, but we're gonna wrap. And I know that you have a Facebook group, a closed Facebook group. I'm going to put the link up here. And can you tell us a little bit about this group?
So it's a Facebook group I set up because some of my clients wanted to continue and have more chat even after they finished working with me. And some other people, have joined. And it's called It's Not About the Scales, because as I said before, for me, it's not about the number on the scale. It's about what you do every day and all day long. And the scales will eventually reflect what you're doing if you do what you know you could do to be healthier and happier. And in the group, I do some accountability, motivation. I post some interesting thoughts, and I get people to think differently about weight loss, about food. Once in a while, I do a 5-day challenge about a specific subject. Whatever, I feel is right at the time, I put up in a group. And the more people participate in the group, the better the results they're going to get. So it's for me an opportunity to help more people and to just spread the love.
I love it. So check out It's Not About the Scales on Facebook. Join Anne's group. And I'm going to hide this again so we can say goodbye. Thank you so much, Anne, for coming on today and sharing your gift to the world, to all of us. And Anne has also offered for anybody who missed the live broadcast that she will answer questions in the comments after the broadcast is over. So please feel free to ask any questions. And if you're too embarrassed to ask them here, join her Facebook group and ask them over there. But please really listen to this broadcast and love your body. Your body is a temple. I know people have said this and it sounds cliche, but it's so true. And when you lose the ability to use a part of your body, you realize that you were stressing over nothing. Like, you know, that one thing, and that the hatred that you have shown to your body is just such a shame. So let's all make a commitment today to take one small step towards body love so that you can be the woman of value who's going to have her best love and her best life. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you, Sandy, and thanks, everyone.